Hey, what's up? This session is how to localize Amazon links, and we're going to talk about it. I'll give you some tips today, right now. So, welcome. If it's your first time on, I appreciate you hopping on. Let me know in the chat. I'm going to be monitoring it back and forth here. I see we have a few people on. Good man Lance is going to help out, and we have Arun as well. Adrian's on too. Very, very cool. So good to have you folks on. Give me a shout. Let me know where you're from. If it's your first time on, do let me know that too. Always interested to hear if there's new folks. So today the topic is about localizing your affiliate links. And basically that means you can earn affiliate commissions in different associate programs. So I'll get into the nuts and bolts. I'll talk about the pros and cons. If you have a question today, you can leave it in the chat. However, if it is not about the topic today, I'm probably going to skip it and I'll save it though. I love to get questions. I'm going to save it until Friday. Friday is a general Q&A. So if you have general questions, that is the place to ask. I'm assuming everyone could hear me. Otherwise, people would be yelling at me like, hey, we can't hear you and all that kind of stuff. But today, this is about geotargeting. I'm going to give you some options. I'll tell you some free options. I'll tell you some paid options. For any of the paid options, I'm probably an affiliate. So there are links, I hope, in the description. And I'm an affiliate. I'll get a commission. Just want to let you know ahead of time. But I'm telling you free options. And here's the deal. When we get down to it, I don't think a lot of people need to do this localizing stuff. And I don't have any water or a drink. Oh no, I'm going to have to cough here, but I'll mute. Cool. I'm just going to give some shout outs in the chat before we get rolling here. Here's how it's going to work also. All right. I'm going to say hello. I'll do some preamble stuff like we're doing right now. And then I'm going to talk for a while. I drew some pictures again. All right. There's going to be some different colors in here. There's Post-it notes hiding things. All right. I'm going to go through the material and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to ignore the chat while I'm going through the material. My friends, Arun and Furhan and Lance, potentially some other people, they're watching the chat for me. They're moderators. And I thank those guys a lot. Everyone should thank them. If you're watching the replay, you can, number one, thank them as well. And you can let me know where you're from as well. It's always interesting to hear what people are from. Okay. So we have Chris is on. Good to hear from you. We have Charles. We have David. Daniel, what's up? Puesh, and then Greg. We have Alexandros, awesome, from Greece. And then the notifications are working out, is what my man David says. We have Jay Lopez from Puerto Rico. We're coming from across the world. And Chris is from Malta. That's cool. And then Daniel is from Santa Fe. I spent some time in Santa Fe, only like a week, but it was awesome. Really loved the food. We have AA from Pakistan and Muhammad. We have Charles from Indy. We have Jesper from Spain and Wesley. And man, we got a big crew. We got Angela. We have Ninja DIY. We got Nirmal. And I'm going to try and get through them here. Thomas, Chill, and Sunny. What's up? Okay, let's get to it. So I'm going to ignore the chat best I can. It's honestly hard to ignore the little scrolly stuff going on over there. So localizing links, that's what we're talking about today. And hopefully this is kind of bright enough. But how about that? So localizing affiliate links, like why would we do that? So I think probably if you're watching this, it's money, right? If you can get additional commissions, you can make more money. And that's kind of what we're building these sites for. Sure, we want to like make the internet better and everything like that, potentially help people. But at the end of the day, we're building the site so you can hopefully get a commission. And, everyone has a different why, but we're trying to make money. So the theory is, and here's where I kind of got hung up and first learned about it. There was a plugin out there, and they were like, hey, I've added these global, programs for Amazon, and I added these, new affiliate links, but, I didn't have to do anything special. But if traffic comes from, say, Canada, and the site is based out of the US, like I am, if a Canadian surfs over to my site, they click the affiliate link, they'll go to their local, Amazon.ca, right? They'll go to the Canadian version. I won't get a commission. So I'm losing out on revenue. So the theory is if you can recapture that revenue, if they go through your affiliate link and they end up on the Canadian version, then you get a commission, right? So if you amplify this by like, all the different affiliate programs out there, you think, hey, I can make some money. So the reason I sort of got interested in it way back when I first got started in 2013, I heard about it and the case studies were like awesome, right? So someone added these geo targeting, the localizing links, and basically they made thousands of dollars more instantly with no additional work, right? Well, they were selling a plugin, right? So that's the deal, right? So they were selling a plugin, so they were highlighting these cases, and I was like, I looked at my data, and I'm going to get into that in a second, but I looked at my data, and I saw that indeed I had some traffic, and maybe I could make some additional money. I heard from a couple of friends who were getting, even more traffic from international sources, and they made several hundred extra dollars per month. So when should you do this? And should you even do this? Is this a waste of time? Now, the other part I'll tell you is I bought the plugin. I tried to use it. I didn't make any additional money. It was like, 15 bucks or something. It wasn't enough to justify, both the work, the cost of the plugin, and, at some point, like you have to make a minimum amount before they cut a check. So for me, I tried it and it didn't work that great. Now, that doesn't mean it won't work for anyone. It just means that time it didn't work. And then for about 3 years, I didn't worry about it. Like I tried it and then I understood why the data was so important. So the question is it worth it to make an investment in a plugin or to even like use one of the free options and work on it that way? So here's how you figure it out. It's pretty straightforward. And here is the checkpoint that you have to go through. So go over to Google Analytics or wherever you're checking or monitoring and what am I trying to say? Your traffic. Go to Google Analytics and check your traffic. And then you can see where the traffic's coming from. If you have a graph that looks something like this, where most of your traffic is from the US, but there's only like a tiny little fraction that's coming from like international sources, then you probably don't need to worry about it. In fact, I didn't worry about it for a very long time because it didn't matter. Like it didn't matter. There was such a small amount of traffic. It would have been like making an extra. Now I have to be cautious here, but it'd be like making an extra $50 a month, which is a small percentage. Now, the thing is, would it add up? Would it be interesting? Yes. However, it doesn't mean that it's 100% worth it. So I ignored it for a long time because here's why: there were other things that I could do or much higher leverage. Some of those things may have been like adding 200 KGR articles, right? That is a much higher leverage activity versus like trying to, add, um, you know, 2-3% additional, revenue, or maybe it's like 2% of the traffic or something like that. So I'm not using specific numbers because I drew this picture, but maybe this next one will help. So if your graph looks anything like this, you could probably ignore it for some time. Additionally, right, the other aspect is if you're not getting much traffic at all. So let's say your graph actually looks more like this baby, where maybe like 20% of your traffic is coming from Canada and the UK, and the majority, is coming from the US, but there's a significant chunk, right? So if your graph looks like this, you should probably consider adding, international associates programs and figuring out how you want to, add those links. I'll get into that in a second. Here's the thing though, if your graph looks like this, but you're only getting like, I don't know, 100 visitors a day or something, probably don't worry about it. You should probably spend your time on higher leverage things. Again, it could be adding more content, it could be getting more backlinks, it could be improving existing content, but there are a number of things you could do that are probably more important than trying to, add a global associate program. It's not gonna be like all the case studies you see most likely. Now, here's how you do it. Again, I have a couple of affiliate links below, but I'll tell you a couple free options as well. So it's fairly straightforward. I mean, I overly simplified it with 3 points here. You sign up for the other associate program. So that's the thing. You do have to sign up for like the Canadian version or the UK version or German or whatever. So you have to sign up for those other programs. If you're already in the US, it's fairly straightforward. I mean, I think you sign up and you're good to go basically right away. And then use a tool to hopefully insert the links somehow. And the third is earn commissions, right? So as far as your options, there are a couple just straight up free ones. So first of all, you could do it manually. You could log into each one of the um, sort of associate programs and like try and place the links and tell people to click different links based on where they're at. That's a very clunky version. I don't recommend that, but it is free. There is also um, a tool put out by Amazon it's like their Amazon link builder or something like that. And I think it's still in beta, but they do have a tool out there and it does the geo-targeting properly. And it's indeed, Amazon's tool. So you can use that as well. I haven't used that before. I've heard if you look at the reviews, there's mixed reviews for it. Again, it's a free option and you can just download it and use it, right? Another option is called OneLink, and that I have used. So if you log into your Amazon Associate account, you'll probably see a link like, hey, you could check out this new tool, OneLink. That seems fairly straightforward. There's a couple steps involved, but it took me maybe 10 minutes to do. So you link up your other international accounts to your US account or wherever your primary account is. So it links them up, and then you insert one line of code onto your site, usually in the like the head scripts and stuff like that. So you may have to figure out how to do that in your theme or figure out how to do it for your specific site. And then you place that piece of code in there and it geo targets properly. Some people have speculated that it threw off their earnings and their traffic and all that stuff. I personally have not seen that. I have heard multiple people talk about it, but I've never seen actual data where they tested it. I think sometimes traffic goes up, sometimes clicks go up and down. I think the people were paranoid, to be honest with you. Okay. Further, a couple of the paid tools. One is EasyAzon that I'll recommend, and the other is AAWP. I really like AAWP. It seems to be a little bit more modern. Again, I am an affiliate for these, so keep that in mind. But they're solid tools. And, for AAWP, I do like it because I think it has a better looking sort of interface and it seems to be more versatile. So it's pretty popular. And I have, exchanged a couple emails with the founder. Seems pretty awesome and it looks like a great tool. And I've looked at it for a long time before I actually mentioned it to anyone in a public forum like this, but I would check it out. And I think it's a viable tool. Now let me just double check to see if I mentioned any other things in the description here. So AAWP, you have EasyAzon, you have OneLink. Oh, and Genius Link. So Genius Link is another sort of option. It's really a more powerful tool than just globalizing. You can manage your just links on your site. So it allows you to redirect in a specific way, but Genius Link can be great to use. I have heard mixed reviews on that. I think a couple years ago, I remember that some servers go down when there was some major issue on the internet. Like a lot of different servers went down, and Genius Link was one of them. It cost a particular friend of mine a decent amount of cash because none of the links were routed properly, which was unfortunate. So Genius Link can be powerful. I know a lot of people use it for their affiliate management or affiliate link management within, like, say, YouTube or just on their site in general. It's a powerful tool. And again, I know the people at Genius Link, I've actually guest posted there. So they do a fantastic job, really good customer service. It's worth it to check out. So those are the main options. Again, there are free options. And overall, I'm going to say you really need to take a look at your traffic and make sure you're focusing your time on like the highest leverage thing. So if you have an afternoon to, get this going, maybe that's okay. If you're getting the right amount of traffic and if you are, I guess the right amount of traffic in the right like demographic of traffic, like where are they coming from? So the geography and the data, it all matters a lot. And I ignored it for a very long time because there were much better things for me to spend my time on. Okay, going back to the chat. Thanks. Hopefully everything was cool in there. Again, quick reminder, if you could do a couple things. If you are watching live, please hit the thumbs up. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got some good information. Hit the thumbs up. It helps other people find it. Really appreciate it. And if you really, really like it, if you leave a comment, that would be great. You could just say, hey, I enjoyed this. And, ask a question if you have one. Okay. What questions do we have out there? Let's see. Okay. We have Thomas from Baltimore. I'll just hit the people that I missed before. We got Chill, Sunny, Shanna. We have eBay. Okay, so Shopify is asking about a keyword that's too competitive. Mainly, you would look at the competition and see if it's too hard. If you think it's too hard, then it's probably too competitive for you. It's a very deep topic and too hard to explain right here. Hiking gear, what's up? Nick is from Wisconsin. Awesome. Daniel says, you like link builder mainly because it's a good way to get high quality images from the API. Good point. So Daniel, with link builder, you are indeed able to get like bigger images and stuff. Nick says another vote for AAWP, super easy to use. Yep. And then we have another good one. So AAWP from Furhan says it's good. Azon tables is a good one and one-off payment rather than a subscription. Cool. And Furhan, by the way, the question I had about Azon tables, do they allow the geo-targeting too? I tried to look in the documentation before I published the description here, and I'll update it later, but let me know if they allow geo-targeting. I didn't have a chance to email the owner this morning. Genius Link is free for less than 1,000 clicks, so good note. Dcard, what's up? And we have Papas D, what's up? Would it not be better just to go all in with trying to build quite a large site instead of a relatively small niche site? This will mean better rankings for inner pages. Yes. Yeah, a large site. And it all depends on your definition. So I have another video that talks about niche site versus authority sites. It's all your definition. So I don't really make small sites myself. Niche site is just a site on a specific topic. Hiking Gear says you're using AAWP for geo-targeting. You're only using one link from Amazon. You're using AAWP for other purposes. Is it okay? Sure. Is that working? I mean, if you're already doing it, then it must be okay. Duke is on. You heard reports that Genius Link is coming under fire because of the link cloaking clause in the terms of service. Amazon wants to know where the link originates from. Cool. That is an excellent point, and I know Genius Link has had to answer that multiple times. I think they cover it in their documentation and stuff, but from my perspective, I think like if you say the link is going to Amazon, like you sort of cover yourself. But yeah, that was always my worry. But there have been multiple instances where Genius Link answered that. The founder, the CEO went and, addressed it. But yeah, I would kind of worry about that a bit myself too. And thank Duke as well, another one of the kind moderators. Barry is on. What's up? Chris says you've been starting your own niche site. The geo targeting really confuses you. From the starter phase, would you just stick to one geography and doing keyword research just for that geography? Yes, that's what I would recommend. Get the mechanics down first. in the I mean, the big thing is, like, if you're just starting and you are if you're just starting and you're just trying to get the first, 10 visitors and make, like, your first 10 bucks, and you can potentially make 2% more, like, the 2% of the $10 is not enough for the effort. So I would say just wait, Chris. Yeah, for sure. Furhan says Genius Link has changed the options and allows the original link, then sends it to Genius. Okay, cool. That is good to know. Thank you for adding that. Keyframe, what's up? Okay. And then Azon Tables allows geo-targeting for all markets. Cool. Thanks for that, Furhan. I will add the link. And Azon Tables is a great plugin to, of course, make tables. And it has all the same sort of options that you would get from, these other tools that I mentioned, including the geo-targeting. And it has like the ability to add tables. It's a great plugin. It's fairly new. And as Furhan mentioned, it's good because it's not like an ongoing fee. So it's probably one of the cheapest ways to get into it and that sort of thing. David says sometimes there isn't a product available. Let's say that your Amazon site is US based and someone accesses it from Canada and they get redirected. There's no product. Is there a way to redirect traffic to the USA exclusively, or to direct traffic exclusively? And I'm going to read in deeper into your question and say, you mean per product? That said, I'm not sure, but I think once they get over to the other geography, the other associate program, they're cookied. And if they make a purchase, that's good. But based on what you're describing, I don't think so. Barry says, is it a good idea to create a niche site around a single product, but multiple types of that product? It's totally up to you, of course, like many things. It depends on where you want to focus. However, I would say I would usually brand the site a little bit more broadly so that you have options in the future. So let's say you do pick one product and there are multiple types of that product. Great. Still branded a little more broadly. You never know. In 6 months, you may think, oh man, I found this other new product. It's pretty closely related, but my domain and all my branding is too narrow. So just make sure you give yourself options in the future. Depop says you're in the UK. You can't decide whether to target the US or the UK. Can you offer your thoughts? I do US probably because the search volume is probably bigger. For instance, what I like about Genius Link is that it will show you the matching product as exact or near if nothing is found. That'll take the visitor to the search page. Cool. So that is good to know too. So Genius Link will, like, if the product isn't available, like what David is saying, then Genius Link will get close, right? As close as they can. And if there isn't anything that's close, well, then they will take the visitor to the search page where they're cookie. Adrian says one link is not accurate for you. If your US product link is about tennis balls, when it's redirected, it shows basketballs. This is your experience with one link so far. Okay. So Adrian, yeah, it doesn't sound like that's a good match there. So yeah, I would test with other tools if you're interested. But Adrian, I know, don't worry about international stuff right now. And Daniel says, you're pretty sure one link settings say it will only redirect if there's a product available. It's something you have the option for. So that's great to know there as well. All right, any other questions on this topic? A couple things I want to point out is if you haven't liked the video yet, please like it. It does help other people find it, and I appreciate it. It's helpful for me. And the other thing is, don't forget Friday, there's a general Q&A. So there's a general Q&A on Friday where I answer some of the more random questions and stuff like that. All right. So today I prefer to just answer questions about localizing Amazon affiliate links. Otherwise, I'll end up being here forever. And today I'm shooting a lot of videos. So, by the way, a couple people have commented recently about like how many videos I'm publishing and how I'm able to do it. So I'm actually doing sort of like a little vlog type series where I'm showing you what I'm doing. Additionally, like would people be interested in like the systems and processes and the things that I'm doing? If so, just let me know in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments, because I do I've done this multiple times in different areas, and what I have is really like sort of a set of principles and ideas and processes that I've been doing. So I published like 200 posts on one niche site. Then I did it again the next year. Then I did it on another site. And I've, used it in different areas. And then I'm publishing roughly over the last 30 days or so, like 60 videos. So, and I haven't been doing like, crazy work hours or really much additional work. It was just like putting a system in place. So if you're interested in that stuff, let me know. I can put together a little bit more information on it and really put together sort of a series of videos. So, okay, cool. Let me see what we have in the chat. And don't forget, if you're watching the replay, please leave a comment. You can answer the questions in there as well. All right. Daniel says, one setting also lets you choose to redirect. This is one link. Redirect if it's similar or an exact match. And then Daniel says, okay. Then Jay says, maybe a question for Friday. Should we use an Amazon specific theme or other themes? Yep, that is a good one. I'll try and comb through the chat and pull the questions here. So obviously I want to try and answer good questions. In fact, I will do that before I close this window. Sanjay says, how is Affiliate Egg and Content Egg plugin for Amazon affiliate sites? I've never heard of them, so I can't comment on that. All right. Furhan says, you're always interested to see the background workings and you love all the content recently. Thank you for that. All right. And then Homesteading says a KGR question. What if the KGR volume shows 0? Okay. So Bosco, totally up to you. I usually will publish those. Barry says you're interested in the process of YouTube videos. Nick says you'd love to see it too. And Peter, awesome. Thank you. Chris says you found some competitor articles showcase products in the US, but there's nothing in the UK. Perhaps showcasing UK could be advantageous if there's a UK search volume. Yeah, I think so. That's a good idea. I never thought of that. Alexandra says you publish more content that you can consume. Thanks. Appreciate that. Okay. And quick note, I like to generalize it. So I will give this specific example of like the YouTube content push, but really I think it's more powerful to like understand the process. Do you agree in the chat, that especially the people that were interested in seeing the process of YouTube specifically? It's good to have like real examples of what I'm doing and then results. I understand that, but I definitely want to like give the stuff that you could apply across the board, because not everyone, and in fact, very few people have YouTube channels. So, all right. Cool. Charles says you enjoyed the content sprint and how I have the content structured more focused on the topics. And the best is real world example, like yesterday's teardown. Great value. Cool. Good to hear. And I may do, it's an interesting mix. So I'm digressing some on my own, but it's an interesting mix because I want to have like content like the stuff yesterday, the cool stuff yesterday. Hey, Georgie. The cool stuff yesterday, like actually, if you haven't checked out that video, like I'll try and put a link in here, but I tear down a niche site, right? And I critique it pretty hard and let you know what I like and what I don't like. So check it out if you haven't seen it. Came out yesterday morning. There's a lot of discussion on it already too, so feel free to hop in there. Okay. So the thing is, I want to publish like stuff that can serve people and help people that are just getting started. So it's an interesting mix. And one of the things that happened, right? So I had all the content's free, right? So you can watch these videos free, and it's an interesting balance because someone said, "Hey, Doug, I don't like your new videos because they are stories that I already know." And that means the person is a good supporter, right? They know the stories already. And I don't want to like alienate the supporters that I already have. So hopefully content like yesterday is helpful. But unfortunately, the person was there, the internet's the internet, right? So they were they were more forceful. They were just like, "Hey, you need to do a better job on videos. I want you to cover this stuff, and it's free. It's free material." And I think the videos are actually getting better. So instead of watching like a 45-minute video, I can put it into like 15 minutes and say it in a better way now because I've published so many freaking videos. Okay, let me get back to the chat here. Homesteading or Bosco says, I'll try and remember your name, Bosco. Content egg is solid, but it won't pull up items. Not available for affiliate programs, but it can be clumsy. Charles says, oh, I already saw that. And then Bosco says, you can't divide for zero, so just pad the volume yet. However you want to deal with it. I don't worry about it. If I see a zero search volume, then I assume most people are not going for it. So I'll take a look, and it's your call. So whatever you want to do is fine. You can not like go for them, or if you go for them, right, you could just make your assessment. My assessment is usually if it's like zero, I'll just go for it and see what happens. Basically, sometimes if I happen to check and I see the all in title is something like 100, well, if it's less than 100, I go for it. If it's over 100, I may skip it. But if it looks like interesting content, then I'll publish it. All right. Daniel says you're curious how much it costs for a good video editor. Mine's really good. $9 an hour. I've been giving her raises because she's been doing a great job. So that is one of my other skills. And that's another thing I'll talk about. I mean, I tested out probably like 4 or 5 people. And she's really good. And it's all, geo arbitrage kind of stuff. Okay. Hiking says you applied for the Japan affiliate program for Amazon. They accepted. You don't know within a short time. They used to send a rejection letter. Any idea my site is already registered? Can you rephrase your question? I'm not sure I understand. Are you asking if they're going to send you a rejection letter? Basically, I think you're fine. Like if you didn't get a rejection letter, then it's probably fine. And I think there's a question if I speak Spanish. I do not. Sorry. Next, Peter says, why use a VPN for keyword research? Is localization only? Is it for localization or are there other reasons? Okay. Yeah, you would need it for checking the all in title. Chris said you found some discrepancies between keywords everywhere and keyword keg's actual paid tool. To an extent, you need to take it with a pinch of salt. Yep, I think that's true. Santiago's on. What's up? Amin says, is there a noticeable difference between Google SEO and Bing SEO? No clue. I basically ignore Bing. All right, cool. Any other questions on the topic of localization for your affiliate links? And as far as like the VPN, most people in the chat, if you're located not in the US, you may want to use a VPN in the US so that you can check the all-in title from the US location. Spartan says, do I think it's possible to create a successful fitness site with a KGR regardless of the fact that it's a competitive niche? Well, it depends on your goal. Can you create a site that's successful? You must define successful And is it possible? I would say probably. Most things are probably possible. How long will it take? How successful will it be? I have no clue. Who knows? So I would recommend that, just because you use the KGR doesn't mean you don't link build. So if you do KGR, if you do other content, if you do a great job and you do link building, sure, definitely, for sure. All right. We have Near Mall. That's cool. And Bosco is talking about Surly IPA. Sounds like a good beer. I enjoyed a few. It's a nice beer that we can actually get up here in Montana. It's from New Belgium. New Belgium. They actually distribute up here a wide range of their beers, but their triple is great. I love Belgian beers. So, okay. And buy deals, offers from Amazon. Really slick name. What's up? Okay. And any questions about the topic of geo targeting or localization? The other questions I'm going to try to put in for Friday. So don't forget on Friday, there's a general Q&A. So your general questions can be asked there. Randall asks if I'm going to recap. No, I'm not going to recap. Okay, I'll recap. Fine, I'll recap. Basically, if you have traffic, if you have significant traffic from other sources outside the US that have an affiliate program, you perhaps should consider, checking out the other programs. If you don't have much traffic or your site's kind of new, and when I say much traffic, if you're only getting like less than 100 visitors per day, probably don't worry about it. We're talking about like just such a small amount of money that you shouldn't worry about it. You should probably spend your time on higher leverage things like adding more content, getting backlinks, stuff like that. Jay says, great teardown yesterday. Cool. Thank you for mentioning that. And then Randall, I'm trying to think. That was the main thing. There's a couple free options. There's a couple paid options. A lot of people seem to like AAWP. That seems to be like one of the more popular plugins right now. And I think, it's kept really well up to date. And I'll be talking, I've exchanged some emails with the founder and creator, the developer. So I'm hoping that the improvements that they're going to be making, he said he had some interesting plans. So I hope to speak with him and work with him some on that. Yep. And Tao says, this is a great way to put it. I do geo-targeting on my site, but only for the UK, US, and Canada based on your top 3 sources of traffic. That is precisely what I do. Yep. And Tao says 95% of the earnings come from the US. Yep. Exactly that too. So that is the key. All right, and then Bosco says, regarding the affiliate link stuff, can content curation be an effective strategy? It's good for backlinking. You have multiple curation sites, but is it appropriate to insert affiliate links? I think so. I don't know of any specific rules aside from, some people do get busted for curating content. So if you are, if you piss off the wrong person, potentially you could have some issues there with curation like that, unless you're doing it like in a 100% legal way and all that stuff. So copyright and fair use can get a little complicated. And I'm not an expert. But if it is working, I would think you can put affiliate links in there. I don't see a major issue with it, but I've never tried it. I don't do it. So not legal advice. All right. Spartan says, what if the product you're mentioning is only available on Amazon.com? You've used a localizer, but it messes up because it links to a non-existent product. So I think you answered your own question. So what happens if it's only available on Amazon.com? Then it messes up like you're talking about. So what do you do? I don't know. I don't know. Don't worry about it. I would literally not worry about it at all because here's the situation that you're describing. So you have a review for a product. See, and this is where it gets sort of messy. We're trying to solve problems that like happen one 10,000th of the time or whatever, and it's literally worth pennies. So it's a dumb problem to try and solve. Not that I mean, it's just a yeah, it's a dumb problem to try and solve. And this is where people like me get caught in a trap, right? So I'm like, oh, how can I solve the problem? But it's really such a minuscule problem that it doesn't freaking matter, right? So don't worry about it. This is where we get caught up because there are a million pitfalls like this in an Amazon affiliate site. So here's the situation. There's someone in the UK that ended up on your site. They clicked on a link for a product. They went to the UK version of a non-existing product. And then what happens? Well, at least they're cookied for a day. So if they make a purchase, at least you get that. But if you didn't localize it, they would not end up being able to pay you anything anyway. Like you couldn't make money from them. So really, it doesn't matter. So you could literally ignore it and then you're fine. You were only going to make like 50 cents from it anyway. Adrian says, I know you don't want me to worry about the global stuff yet, but what's my opinion on putting text underneath the product saying check here for US or check here for UK? I think it's a waste of time. So, yeah, I think it would just waste your time. So I wouldn't do it. Randall says, here's a unification kind of question. Using something like Alibaba, for instance, to ensure a supply of items to sell on a platform like Amazon and Geotarget, should you be letting people know about shipping time delays? I don't I don't think so. I don't think so, man. That sounds like a again, solving a problem that isn't really a problem. So, but interesting. Technically, data could be obtained, but the ROI on solving that problem is so low that it's a waste of time. Okay, and Buy Deals is asking about API and Pinterest stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Check with yeah, I'm not sure about the details on that. And J and K says, "Is this Q&A time?" Yes, it is Q&A time, but only for geotargeting questions. Friday is the general Q&A. And yeah, I mean, for Buy Deals asking about Pinterest stuff, like I just don't know. I know you can add I think they added it a while back where you could add affiliate links in Pinterest, but you know, I don't think that's really anything that I'm interested in. Okay, and Randall says if I had two high ROI activities using geo-targeting on Amazon, what would they be? Okay. I mean, I think my answer may lead people astray because I don't necessarily, I mean, I'll answer your question, but I want to, people have to take the prior advice. So I would say try to get more traffic from like the specific like geographies that you're trying to make more money from, and then keep that audience in mind and write for that audience. So if you're trying to get more UK sales, write for the UK audience. Now, Again, I think it may be leading people astray because in general, I think most people probably don't need to worry about geo-targeting. Most people are just trying to like, um, push their products or whatever, push AAWP or EasyAzon or whatever. Um, and I think most people don't need to worry about it. Most people are beginning, and they, you know, don't have enough traffic to make it worthwhile yet. Okay. J&K says, I'm a student of Income School. Those are great guys, by the way. You should check them out if you haven't watched their videos. In their course, they have you install the Amazon affiliate link globalizer to automatically redirect people to the correct Amazon thoughts. Okay. Well, I've never used that plugin before. And if you're a student of their course, then I would follow the course and listen to what they say. What do I think about that specific plugin? I don't know. I don't use it. I think I checked the reviews and maybe they were okay, but not great. And yeah, I think, like I said, if you're a student, follow their course. You paid them money, so I would definitely, respect what they're teaching. Those are smart guys, Jim and Ricky. I interviewed them on the channel, so check out the interview if you haven't seen it. And I was on their channel, so okay. And Sanjay says VPN software for targeting specific countries, not for links, right? Not for these affiliate links. No, you'll need to use one of the tools I described. I think I maybe misunderstood your question, but Bosco says that you finished the Income School course a month ago, and the issue that you had was that you didn't get much traffic to the embedded affiliate link. Ricky and Jim had you link out to suggested supplies. So I'm not really sure what, obviously J and K knows what you're talking about. Okay. Any other questions on the geo targeting stuff? And I guess, in my course, I don't necessarily like recommend at the beginning or at any point in time to really dig into like geo targeting. Again, it ends up being a distraction. Randall is saying that Sanjay might be talking about hosting sites in the countries you want to target. I don't know where the VPN comes into play. I'm not sure. Come back, Sanjay, on Friday and ask that question. Hiking Gear is asking about Amazon affiliate Australia. No clue. No clue. I would Google it out and look for news stories. I didn't even know that they were starting up soon. And buy deals and offers says you use Genius recommended by me. Cool. Hope it's working out well. Adrian is saying, wouldn't you say that for a beginner, any traffic would be good for your brand new site? Any and from anywhere in the world, yeah, yeah. I would, and I think that's what you're asking. You're not really saying like spam traffic, right? You don't want to have like bots or anything like that. But I think you mean from anywhere. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? Cool. So a couple things. Be sure you check out the Q&A on Friday. Again, it's general Q&A. Today is not general Q&A, which is why my answers are a little bit shorter. And do take a look at the teardown from yesterday. A lot of good discussion in general on that. And feel free to add your own comments in there too. Randall says, do I think geo-targeting would work with area-specific items or maybe even Amazon handcrafted items? I don't know. I've never tried it. Do I think it would work? I would say test it out and see how it goes, but I don't know why it wouldn't work. And Sabil Lopez, what's up? Good to have you on. And I'm actually just finishing up, so you may want to rewind and watch it from the beginning. Bosco says, would I do guest post in other geographies or target language targeting? If your goal is, getting more traffic, that would be something to look at. I don't necessarily I've never tried or tested or felt the need to do that. I'm not I'm not sure, but I would imagine your referral traffic would probably be higher, in those geographies. So that could be a good thing. As far as specific rankings, I'm not sure. I haven't done international SEO in any fashion, at least not on purpose, right? And again, I want to emphasize, I think like chasing 5% or chasing 10%. I'm not saying you're doing that, Moscow, by the way, but to try and go after and optimize for like 5% or even 10% when you should be going after like 35 or 60%, like you end up spending your time on stuff that isn't as worthwhile. So, and Adrian, I don't know if you had a follow up question. Yeah, sure. Traffic from anywhere is indeed a good thing. But again, as far as like optimizing on like smaller gains isn't super worthwhile. For example, like I occasionally get emails or notes or comments for like grammar issues in like a blog post or stuff like that. And it sucks to have mistakes, but it turns out it happens. And when you have a lot of people looking at your material, people find all sorts of mistakes. My grammar is terrible. I'm not a super strong writer. My videos sucked if you look at some of the earlier videos. And some people would even say they suck now. However, you have to move past it. So if I spent all my time trying to like correct the spelling mistakes from like a blog post from like a year ago, that's kind of a waste of time. I should probably spend my time somewhere else. And there's always mistakes. Could I hire an editor and have them like make the updates for me and stuff? Sure, but like then I have to hire someone and they could actually be doing something more interesting, like writing the descriptions for my YouTube videos and helping me out in that area. So it's all about like leveraging where you can actually get an ROI, where like it matters more than like trying to optimize for incremental gains, like very small incremental gains. Hopefully that makes sense. And Randall further says, you mentioned the handcrafted in area specific because an item may be fashionable outside of the area it was created, like blanket jackets I saw in the Southern California surfers being made in Mexico. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, sure, give it a shot. I don't see any major issues with it. And Bosco says, thanks, Doug. You're welcome. The small percent rundown ends up gold plated for sure. Yep. And Adrian says, yeah, you mean you're trying to get as much traffic as you can by targeting the US, UK, and Canada and sticking all the links from the other programs. Okay, I'm not sure I understand 100%, but we'll talk tomorrow. Adrian and I have a coaching call. By the way, if you have, if you want coaching, I do some private one-on-one coaching, not a ton, but shoot me an email. If you go to nichesiteproject.com/hire-me, if you just find it, you can send me a message there. You can get some details, right? I can't help you with everything. If you're trying to like start, as a beginner, I generally would recommend my course because it's more complete, it's very exact, and my coaching is very good for auditing a site. My coaching is good for getting a plan together for moving a site forward. Additionally, project management and stuff like that. What you don't want me to help you on is like basic stuff that I've already put into the course is way better, more thorough, has worksheets, and that's where you want to go. Spartan says, I think it would be easier to rank and make more money in a foreign language due to less competition? It depends. I don't know. I've never done it. However, I have seen some of my students do really well in, say, like Italy, or trying to think, I guess just like in general, the Spanish speaking world, and they've been able to rank well. Now, is it easier to rank? Potentially. It depends on the keyword, of course. Can you make more money? Depends on the country, depends on the keywords, depends on the niche. Could it be a good way to like learn and get started and, just maybe rank faster? Probably, right? So if you do your keyword research, it's likely there's less competition. So, and for me, I stick with the US, UK, Canada because I speak English and that's what I learned how to do. And generally, there's more searches in English. Not always, but well, I haven't done any foreign keyword research. But the point is, usually for me, I just stick with the English speaking version. Or I do, not usually, I do 100%. Yep. But it's worth it to take a look. If you have the skill of another language, then certainly take advantage of it. Okay. Any more questions today? Any more questions? Good session. Again, if you watch the comments, watch the comments. If you watch the replay, please leave a comment. You can let me know what you think of this format. Let me know if you want me to do more. Do you like the pictures? I was able to bust out some Sharpies and draw a pie graph. Don't always get to do that. So let me know, and do like the video. Again, if you're watching, if you just joined late, in the chat, if you learned anything, if you didn't find me personally offensive, please hit the like button. It helps other people find the videos. And if you really liked it, if you really like me, leave comments on this video, on all the other videos. I want to hear from you. I'm trying to keep up and answer all of them. I think I may be a little behind, but I try and get to it. So, and Sanjay, the fee of the affiliate course, so first of all, is not available right now. So unfortunately, enrollment only opens a few times a year. So it'll open up in April. It is a premium course. So the cheapest option is around $600, and it goes on up depending on the package that you get. And Peter, thanks for hopping on. Spartan, Daniel, Arun, everyone, thanks. I'm heading out, getting out while I can. And Adrian, just in, you checked and you have one post in the top 3 from the 5-figure niche site course. So Sanjay, it's called 5-figure niche site. So you can sign up for the email list. All right. Thanks everyone. Charles, we'll see you. We'll catch you next time. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and Q&A. It's on Friday.